Super Mario 3D World introduced the cat suit, as well as having multiple other power-ups. But how many green stars can you get without using a single one? Well, the answer was much harder to find than you'd think. Rules. I can't get a single power-up. This includes stuff like the piranha plant and boxes, but doesn't include items such as the baseball or one-up mushrooms. Any advantage is allowed, such as the use of characters' special abilities, multiplayer mode, and glitches. I can't get any checkpoints, because they're programmed to give a super mushroom power-up to the player. Intentionally dying to regain Mario's big form is allowed, as it does not use a super mushroom power-up, and instead spawns you back to your default state, which is the bigger form. There's a total of 380 green stars throughout the 12 worlds and 117 levels. Multiple sections throughout the game are made specifically for a certain power-up, meaning that we could be stopped dead in our tracks at any point if just a single level can't be progressed without a power-up. Not to mention the many barriers that require a certain amount of stars before you can progress, which could also end up leaving us with only a few stars in total. Anyways, let's see how many we can get. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. World 1 begins with Super Bell Hill. The first 2 stars are fairly easy to get and can be done casually. The 3rd star intends you to use the Mega Mushroom to break these grey bricks, but you can just jump around to grab the star. Koopa Troopa Cave is another fairly easy one, where you essentially get all 3 stars without any tricks. Charging Chuck Blockade gave me a little bit of trouble, but after a while I knew their AI pattern and got the star. Mount Beanpole was the first level to really give me some trouble. The first 2 stars were pretty easy to grab, but the 3rd one requires a cat suit, and I'm sad to say that you just can't get up there. Just kidding. With the use of 2-player mode, you can only just throw someone onto the platform above. Then all you need to do is avoid the power star and then grab the green star. Plessy's Plunging Falls was another easy level, where the only hiccup was after the 2nd star when you need to avoid the power star. In Switch Scramble Circuit, you skip a cat suit by wall jumping to get the 1st star, skip a fire flower by ground panning the correct box and getting this star, and then just quickly grab the 3rd star. The Captain Toad level was literally done casually with the exception of avoiding super mushrooms, and that's basically the story with all of the other Captain Toad levels, so I won't really be going into them much. For Bowser's Highway Showdown, we get the 1st star easily, skip a cat suit by jumping onto the thwomp and doing some epic parkour to get the 2nd star, and then just kick the football into the Goomba for the 3rd star. The boss fight in this level can be pretty tricky and tedious, but as long as you're careful it can be done without a power up. Now we just complete the level. That's World 1 done with 24 stars, 24 in total. World 2 begins with Conch Door Canyon, and nothing too noteworthy happens. And for the sake of the rest of this video not being boring, I'll now only go into detail when a level has something interesting happen. So we get all 3 stars in Puff Prod Peak, Shadow Play Alley, and Ready Rolling Hills. The Big Galoomba Blockade was fairly easy too, and so was the Mystery House Melee, which only had a minor challenge of killing the 4 conch doors in 10 seconds. I was initially worried about Double Cherry Pass, as the entire level is based around a power-up. I mean, it's literally in the title of the level. But through the power of multiplayer, you can get the 2nd star and the 3rd star without using a single double cherry. And then we enter Bowser's Bullet Bill Brigade. The level started off extremely easy, with the first 2 stars essentially being out in the open, but the 3rd star was blocked behind a wall that could only be broken with a cannon box power-up. No matter how much I hit my head against the wall, it just wouldn't break, which marks the first green star that is impossible to get without a power-up. We sadly go through the pipe, defeat the boss, and complete the level. That's World 2 done with 23 stars, 47 in total. World 3 begins with Snowball Park, and we get all 3 stars fairly casually. In Chainlink Charge, the 3rd star has some pretty neat spin jump action to skip a catsuit. We then get all 3 stars in Shifty Goo Mansion and Pretty Plaza Panic, and then get all 5 stars in Captain Toad Makes a Splash. Magic Koopa Blockade was light work by now because I'm a pro at this point. Next is Pipeline Lagoon. 1st star was pretty easy to get, but the 2nd star was once again blocked off behind a wall, and the only way to get it is with a cannon box. We swim along while crying and grab the 3rd star. Mount Mustache has a section at the end that had me stumped for ages, but with the help of my chat, I successfully used 4-player mode to bounce off of everyone and grab the star. We then get all 3 stars in Switchboard Falls and Bullet Bill Express. Lastly was a bouquet with Histocrat. This boss fight is intended for the catsuit, which makes it quite tricky to do without, but with some patience and epic jumping, you can beat him. Once he's dead, just complete the level. That's World 3 done with 30 stars, 77 in total. Not a crazy amount happened in World 4. In both Ant Trooper Hill and Piranha Creeper Creek, we got all 3 stars. We annihilate the Brawler Blockade, and then in Beat Block Skyway, we do some epic 2-player mode action. In Big Bounce Byway, we get all 3 stars, and in Mystery House Mad Dash, we easily get all 10 stars. In Spike's Lost City, we face our first major challenge. The second star in this level requires a cat suit to climb up this wall. So for an hour, I was throwing a bunch of ideas at the wall to see if I could get up there. And when all hope was seemingly lost, I finally did it. We then killed these pesky fire bros before entering Lava Rock Lair. We get all 3 stars before fighting the boss. It's a fairly easy fight, which is made just slightly harder without power-ups. Anyways, we defeat him and finish the level. That's World 4 done in 30 stars, 107 in total. In World 5, I got all 5 stars in Captain Toad Plays Peekaboo, and got all 3 stars in Sunshine Seaside, Tricky Trapeze Theatre, and Backstreet Bustle, Massacre the Charging Truck Blockade, and in Sprawling Savannah, we skip a cat suit by sliding down the wall with style. There was also a part towards the end that was extremely scary, but with some good timing we can only just miss the power star. Bob-Ombs Below was another easy 3 stars, and then we kill some innocent fire bros. In both Cakewalk Flip and Searchlight Sneak, we get all 3 stars fairly casually. Finally, in King Kathunk's Castle, we get the first 2 stars relatively easily, but then do some epic 2-player mode jumping to grab the 3rd star. We then murder the boss before completing the level. That's World 5 done with 31 stars, 138 in total. World 6 starts with Clear Pipe Cruise, and I'm sad to say that we can't get the 1st star. It's unfortunately surrounded by spiky balls that only break with a power star. I almost had the same problem for the 3rd star too, but luckily the Fire Piranha destroyed the spikes inside the pipe and we got the star. We get all 3 stars in Spooky Seaside Wreck and Hands on Hall. In Deep Jungle Drift, we get the first 2 stars and barely get the 3rd star. Kill the Prince Bully Blockade with some well-timed rolls. Skip the Ice Skate in Taifu Flurries and only just get the 2nd star. Do some epic parkour in Bullet Bill Base to skip a cat suit for the 1st and 2nd star. Get all 3 stars in Fuzzy Time Mine with relative ease, then get the 5 stars in Mystery House Throwdown before killing some fire bros. Enter Bowser's Bob-Omb Brigade and get all 3 of the stars, and then fight the boss in Motley Boss Blob's Big Battle. That's a mouthful. The only challenge in this was dodging the double cherry, which spawns every time the boss breaks apart. But because I'm a pro, I defeat them and then complete the level. That's World 6 done with 31 stars, 169 in total. World Castle is when the challenge really begins. We get all 3 stars in Fort Fire Bros before entering Switchback Ruins. The 1st star in this level unfortunately requires a fire flower to light each torch, so we get the other 2 stars whilst crying. We then kill some fire bros to let off a little steam, get all 3 stars in both Red Hot Run and Boiling Blue Bully Bell, before showing the Brawler Blockade and Prince Bully Blockade, who's the real boss. We do some cool jumping to skip a cat suit in Trick Trap Tower, and then get the first 2 stars in Rammerhead Reef, before being blocked from the 3rd star by the spiky balls once again. We get the 5 stars in Captain Toad Gets Thwomped, and then in Simmering Lava Lake, we get all 3 stars. We then enter Bowser's Lava Lake Keep. To skip a cat suit, we do this really cool jump to get up here for the 2nd star, and then we fight Bowser once again. This is basically the same as the first Bowser fight, but slightly more difficult, but we defeat him after a bit of patience and then finish the level. That's World Castle done with 30 stars, 199 in total. World Bowser starts with Spiky Spike Bridge, and the 2nd star has some pretty epic parkour to avoid getting a cat suit. We then get all 3 stars in Plessie's Dune Downfall, Cookie Cogworks, the Bowser Express, and Footlight Lane. Deepwater Dungeon has some more cool parkour to skip the cat suit with the 1st and 2nd star. A Beam in the Dark unsurprisingly requires a headlight box for the 2nd star, but the other 2 stars were fairly easy to get, so not all hope was lost. In Mystery House Claw Climb, I very nearly had a meltdown. As you can probably guess from the title, the entire Mystery House is designed around the cat suit, and I was barely, and I mean barely, able to get all 10 of the stars. The last star was especially hard, and I only just got it by the skin of my teeth. Let's just say I was extremely happy once it was over. Thankfully, Grublump Inferno was slightly easier as we got all 3 of the stars before defeating Histocrat and Motley Boss Blob once again. The Great Tower of Bowserland was also relatively casual as we got all 3 stars. It is a little bit unfair though that Bowser is allowed to use power-ups, but I'm not. Anyways, we defeat Cat Bowser and complete the level and the main game. That's World Bowser done with 38 stars, 237 in total. World Star starts with Rainbow Run. We get the first star with some epic 3-player mode shenanigans to skip a catsuit, but then can't get the second star due to the lack of a Fire Flower power-up. In Rolling Ride Run, we once again use multiplayer mode to get the third star to skip a double cherry. We get all 5 stars in Captain Toad Takes a Spin, and all 3 stars in Super Galaxy, The Great Goal Pole, and Super Block Land. I thought Honeycomb Starway was going to be relatively easy, but due to not having the boomerang power-up, the second star was extremely difficult to get. You basically have to kill every single bug before the auto-scroller moves past this section. I was here for around an hour and eventually killed them all and grabbed the second star. Gargantuan Grotto was only just completable. This entire level is designed for the Mega Mushroom power-up, and is littered with grey blocks that only the Mega Mushroom can destroy. And it also sadly blocked off the second star. Luckily, for whatever reason, the devs decided to leave 2 holes in these grey brick blockades, which we can fortunately go through to complete the level. The third star in this level was also extremely hard to do without a Mega Mushroom, and I was barely able to do it through the use of 2-player mode and the touchpad thingy. In Peeper's Fog Bog, we can't get the first star, due to us needing a power star to kill the ghosts and save Captain Toad. The next level, Cosmic Cannon Cluster, was probably, no, definitely the hardest thing I've ever done, so bear with me. I could unfortunately only get 2 stars due to the first needing a cannon box, but completing the level was unbelievably hard. After the water section, you are met with a switchboard. From here to the end of the level, you need to flick 3 different switches that change the track and make it possible to ride towards the flagpole. The only issue is that you usually use a cannon box. So my first tactic was to jump across the gap, flick the switch, and then jump back to the switchboard 3 different times. But it didn't work. My new tactic, and the one that eventually worked, was to have 2 different characters on either side of the switchboard, and then Peach would jump across, flick the switch, and one of the 2 characters would quickly move the switchboard along the track. This was in itself extremely hard, but then I had to do it another 2 times, bearing in mind that there's cannons shooting stuff at you and dry bones trying to attack you. I honestly have no clue how I ended up doing this in the end, but I was euphoric afterwards. That's World Star done with 28 stars, 265 in total. In both Nightfalls on Really Rolling Hills and Spiky Mount Beanpole, we get all 3 stars pretty easily. And in Deep Black Jungle Drift, we get another 3 stars that unfortunately don't count as we can't complete the level. So, that's the end of the challenge. Just kidding. Luckily, this level is on a split path, meaning we can now get all 3 stars in Trouble in Shadowplay Alley and progress. Due to us not being able to complete the 3rd level, however, the 5th level back to Hands-On Hall isn't unlocked, meaning we can't get any of its stars. In Gigantic Seaside Wreck, we skip a Mega Mushroom for the 3rd star with some 2-player action. Then in Mystery House Brawl, we get all 10 stars, which Rosalina makes extremely easy by the way, and then we get all 3 stars in the Broken Blue Bully Belt before completing the level. That's World Mushroom done with 25 stars, 290 in total. In World Flower, we get all 3 stars in Switch Shock Circuit and Floating Fuzzy Time Mine. Piranha Creeper Creek After Dark unfortunately requires a Fire Flower power-up for all 3 stars. I did try and get the Fire Piranha Plants to light the torches, but it sadly wouldn't work. We then get all 3 stars in Faster Fort Fire Bros, Sprawling Savannah Rabbit Run, and Shiftier Boo Mansion. In Pipeline Boom Lagoon, the first star is yet again blocked behind grey blocks that require a cannon box to break. But don't be too sad, as we then get all 3 stars in Blast Block Skyway, Towering Sunshine Seaside, Honeycomb Skyway, and Spiky Spike Bridge Sneak. We then go through a gauntlet of most of the bosses we've encountered throughout the game, and I absolutely thrash all of them whilst grabbing all 3 stars and completing the level. That's World Flower done with 32 stars, 322 in total. Now, onto World Crown, and so yeah, we can't actually go to World Crown due to us needing all the stars, stamps, and golden flagpoles in the previous 11 worlds. So yeah, that's World Crown done with 0 stars, 322 in total. Out of 117 levels, we were able to complete 112 of them. And out of 12 worlds, we were able to get to and complete 11 of them. And out of 380 stars, we were able to get 322 of them. Out of all the power-ups, the Fire Flower was required the most for stars, closely followed by the Cannon Box and the Headlight Box. And out of all the worlds apart from Crown, we got the lowest percent of stars in World Mushroom, closely followed by World Star and World Flower. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, then please leave a like, subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I also live stream on YouTube, so make sure you drop by sometime. Have a good day. Bye!